This tutorial is on how to use the sonar sensor using the iPad software for LEGO Mindstorm. Okay, so to begin with, we are going to start with a starting block. This block allows us to start the program. In this program, we are going to get the robot to move forwards until it reaches an object and is 20 centimeters away from it. We're going to get it to stop, wait for 1 second, and then reverse back 10 centimeters and then stop. So for this to happen, we need to use the sonar. But first we need to put in a brick that is a drive brick. So we got a few settings in the drive brick. If we tap on the top part of it, we can tell it to either be on or off, on for a certain number of seconds, on for a certain number of degrees of rotation, or on for a certain number of rotations. So we're going to set it to on so it just runs. Now below that you've got which direction it's going to run in. So 0 is straight, and if we adjust this, you can see that it will turn. You can also apply the number by hitting on the little number pad and entering in a number, but we'll just keep it at 0. The second one is the amount of power we apply to the engine. So we can set this manually between 0 and 50. That will be our forwards. You can go all the way to 100%, and you also can go down all the way to negative 100%, and that will be our reverse. So we can set it manually, or we can click the number pad and enter 50. We're just going to leave it on 50, so it's going 50 forwards. Now if we select that brick and drag it across and attach it, that will run when we press play. The next part of our program is we want to check to see how far away we are. So we go into the yellow tab section, and we click on the hourglass, and we're just going to place it right next to our motor brick. In here, we are able to again tap the top section, and it comes up with a whole bunch of different settings. This is where we can find all our different sensors, and we can choose some different things. So at the moment it's set to time, so it's waiting for 1 second. We want the ultrasonic sensor. Now the ultrasonic sensor has a couple of different ways we can use it. We'll be starting with the compare. So we want to compare the distance of where the sensor is to what it's looking at in front, and we're going to go in distance, centimeters, and as you can see it's added a couple of variables here. You can do inches, and that will be the same. It'll just change the distance that it looks in, and presence or listening, it actually reacts to sound. So we're going to go distance in centimeters. Now our two variables down the bottom here, the first one we're going to tap on is what we want to compare. Do we want to see if the robot is equal to a certain distance? Do we want to see if it's not equal to a certain distance? Greater than, so if it's further away than a certain distance, greater than or equal to, same thing. But of course, if it is equal to it, it will also activate. And then less than and less than equal to. So we're going to leave it on less than equal to, and we want a distance. Now this number is in centimeters because we chose the centimeters option earlier. So I'm just going to put it to 20 centimeters away from the object. So the motors are going to run until we are 20 centimeters away from the object. Now, if we run this piece of code, it will mean our robot, if we started at 40 centimeters, it will drive forwards until it's 20 centimeters away, and then it'll just stop the program. Now, what we need to do after that is actually stop the motor so it doesn't keep rolling. We want it to actually apply brakes. So we're going to go and add another brick, and we're going to attach it, and we're going to select the top section of it, and we're going to say off. Now there's only one variable. If we click on the variable, it's either the brakes are true or false. So it actually applies braking or it doesn't apply braking. We just switch the motor off, or we actually apply braking when we switch the motor off, and it stops dead. Alright, so we want it to be true because we want to use the brakes. Now, the next part is, so our program at the moment moves forwards until it gets inside 20 centimeters or something, and then it brakes and stops, and that's all our program does at the moment. Now, what if we wanted to get it to do something afterwards? Well, we can. So I'm just going to add in a timer and just give it a second. So it stops, settles for a second, and then we're going to apply our motors to run. We want them on, but we want them to go backwards. So at the moment, we want it to go in a straight line, but at the moment it's going forwards because our motors are set to 50. We're going to set them to negative 50. That means, as you can see, the arrow turns upside down, and it means it's going to be driving backwards. So now it's just going to start driving backwards forever. Now, we want it to stop, obviously, at some stage. We are going to add in a timer, and we're going to change this timer again, top section. We're going to check our ultrasonic sensor. We're going to go change. Now, change calculates what its current distance is, and then how much we want it to change in either going forwards, how close we want it to get, or going backwards. So we're going to go distance in centimeters, and as you can see, it's put two variables at the bottom, and we're going to talk about those variables. These first variable is the distance of which way we want the distance to change. Do we want the distance to increase, or do we want it to decrease? Now, if we've got it moving backwards, the distance is going to increase. So we want it to increase. If we're moving towards our object, the distance between the two would decrease, or it just detects a change of any kind forwards or backwards. Now, so we want the distance to increase, so we want it to get further away from our target. And the second variable is how much we want it to get to go further away from our target. So we're going to set that to 10 centimeters because we picked centimeters earlier. And again, I'm just going to add one more block in, go back to the green, drive, and we want it to stop. So we're going to add that brick now. So I'll just pause the video and I'll come back with a video showing the programming running on the robot. As you can see, we've got our robot here and we've got a box in front of it. And we're going to just check that we are 20 centimeters away. So I'm just going to move it back a bit more. And then I'm going to run the code on the iPad. It's going to send it to the device. And as you can hear, it initiates, gets 20 centimeters, stops, rolls back 10 centimeters, and the program ends. So that successfully used the sonar to detect the distance we were from the object, got closer to it, stopped, and reversed away from it.